What does it mean to be too self-aware for therapy? So this is me. I've been in therapy for 13 years. I have been consistently told by therapists that I am incredibly self-aware. It has caused issues with more than one doctor and has controlled my life for almost 30 years. It is only in the last 34 that I've learned that this behavior is actually just a wonderful, symptomatic blended cocktail of my childhood trauma, emotional neglect, high IQ, and neurodivergence, intellectualization. It means I understand nearly everything there is to know, good, bad, cause, effect, and everything in between, about my personality issues, my coping mechanisms, and processing difficulties. It also means I'm incredibly skilled at gaslighting myself and rationalizing negative behavior. There's a difference between knowing your feelings and feeling your feelings. And it's the latter that can be the hardest part for some of us. Healing comes from feeling, and for some of us, our brains have hardwired themselves to stop that, usually because it hurts, ergo the need for therapy. Edit. Ah geez, thanks for the award, guys. That's really nice of you. Edit 2. There's a couple comments that I don't understand, but I'm not trying to argue with people. So just to clear the air, not saying I was too self-aware for therapy, just that I've always been a very self-aware person. That it caused me problems. And that I learned, through therapy, that it wasn't self-awareness, but instead an over-reliance on intellectualizing my trauma as a coping mechanism. I've been in therapy my entire adult life. As a therapist, I have literally never said this about a client. Encountered another person, out in the world or in therapy, who I would describe this way, and have never heard another therapist describe a client this way. Consequently, I would suggest that the state of being too self-aware for therapy does not actually exist and is something that people say for some reason. TLDR. It is nonsense. ETA. Check out Johari's window. We all have blind spots. There are several different kinds of therapy. I'm not sure the names of each, but some explore your motivations. Some explore your beliefs. Some endeavor to teach you coping skills. Some train you to overcome obstacles. And others have different modalities. In some of these, in order to understand your negative thoughts or behaviors today, you need to explore and understand why you have become this way, or how your life has led you to this point. This is self-awareness. It isn't always required, but it can help if you understand why you are doing things that you want to change. If you already have a firm and comprehensive grasp of yourself, you are very self-aware, then you short-circuit a lot of this. Some of the methods they use while working with you is to compare and contrast other ideas and concepts that are different from what you've grown into. If they can't do that, it removes a lot of the tools they would normally use in therapy. They can't really help you. Other therapists may do things differently. Other therapists may practice different kinds of therapy. They may welcome your self-awareness. It can be a good thing to be self-aware. Generally, it doesn't help when your therapist says they can't help you, though. It's false more often than true. When it is true, it's because they're able to rationally link what causes certain behaviors that they experience. Even in this circumstance, they're only making that link because they're saying it out loud to a therapist. Therapy is much more than just listing your mental tics and getting a diagnosis. It's a hindrance because thinking, knowledge, and awareness can block the most important thing: action. You know the saying, knowing is half the battle. Maybe that's true for most people, but it's only 0.1% of the battle for me. It has never mattered how much I know about myself or the world. It's never really changed me. The problem is that for people like me, 99.9% of the battle is putting knowledge to use. DBT for self-aware works, but other forms of therapy for me have felt really trivial. Sounds like an excuse to not get the help one needs. Probably worth asking them what they mean by that. I am self-aware and I don't feel and have never felt I need therapy. But I wouldn't go as far as saying a therapist or other forms of therapy couldn't help me in any way. Therapy comes in all shapes and sizes. I get mine from myself and those I confide in. I just don't pay a neutral third party to do so. Maybe they mean they are aware of the techniques and methods of the therapist and cannot go all in anymore because of that? In my opinion, you cannot be too self-aware for therapy. You possibly know how you react and where you struggle, and maybe even the root cause of why you react in a certain way. But to process old trauma like that alone is unlikely. Because if you could, wouldn't you have done it by now already? It's something people who are resistant to lowering their emotional walls say. I know my mom's abuse makes me sad, but talking about it won't help. I am too self-aware for therapy. It means, I don't want to go to therapy, so I'm gonna make up something that makes it sound like I don't need it. It means they are aware of the problems but incapable or unwilling to resolve it. It's also polite therapist talk for you can't be helped. Self-awareness is the first step to healing. I'm interested in what the comments here say, because I've been complimented for being self-aware about what I would like out of therapy and addressing my ailments. I've been in and out of therapy for over a decade by now, so I would hope I know what I need from it. Haha. Never heard that, and I am a therapist also. Good therapists participate in therapy themselves. My psychiatrist and my therapist have both told me that I have incredible self-awareness, and I took it as a compliment, but neither one of them meant it as a reason I shouldn't keep coming. Just because you're self-aware doesn't mean you don't have trauma to work through or other neurological issues. I tend to intellectualize my traumas and feelings. But EMDR booted me out of that mode and helped so much. I have never been told that I was too self-aware though. I was told once that I was too smart for therapy. A very simplified explanation was that I was smart enough to talk myself out of allowing therapy to be helpful. I wasn't ready for therapy, and I'd put a lot of effort into trying to outlogic the therapist. Once I matured, I went back, quit fighting the process, and found therapy super helpful. I wonder if people who are too self-aware are hiding behind their awareness as a way to fight the process. Patient meta-analyzing a reaction as a way to dodge doing real work. Disclaimer: this is based on my own experience and I could be completely wrong. It's folks trying to prop themselves up and excuse themselves from therapy. Self-improvement. A therapist isn't there to simply make you aware of the problems and fix them for you. If a therapist was to actually say you were fully self-aware of your issues, that just means you immediately skip to the next step. The tools to solve those issues you're aware of. Think of it with school. You likely excelled in some classes and just got it. That doesn't mean you're done learning and you give up. It means you go to the next level and advance. Same basic concept here. I'm NGL. I kind of think I'm this way. I've noticed that often I just need to talk out loud to realize the answer or solution to a problem. I rant to my therapist for 5 minutes and then it hits me. It's like a light bulb moment. I still go to therapy though, BC I don't want to put all of it on my family and friends. I know that I have to ask my partner to stop talking about work stressors sometimes, BC it reminds me how awful working is and makes me feel bad about my job as well, loudly crying. But I DK that I'd trust a therapist that says that. Because like I said, even if I don't need therapy, it's still helpful for me and the people around me. I've had therapists and people tell me I'm extremely self-aware. When I was in therapy, it actually was extremely frustrating because none of the workers there could give me any advice I hadn't already tried. I basically just left.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.